All right, Kevin Monroe will be on the call tonight as East Carolina takes on Army trying to bounce back. He joins us here on the Bud Light pregame tailgate. Kevin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Clip. Hope you are.
Yes, sir, doing well. I'm tired of talking about the same three or four things from BYU and ready to fully move on. But it is the first time I've had a chance to talk to you, Kevin. And here are the topics of the week. All the false starts, especially the ones by the receivers. I've asked every former player about those. You had the Hauser pick, which he's trying to do too much there, and then the debacle at the 1 yard line, which everybody has given their thoughts on.
Yeah.
Defense did not allow an offensive touchdown for BYU till midway through the third. So again, we're kind of giving the defense a helmet sticker. It got away from them a little bit at the end, but proud of what they did. Kevin, like, how do you kind of tie a bow, summarize what we saw last Saturday night? Big atmosphere, big environment, but the Pirates kind of came up small overall.
Yeah, I generally don't lose character on air. If you hear me, rarely am I a homer or am I just blurting out things. But I found myself when he threw the pick six on the 1 yard line. I said, "Oh no, 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 no," because I just for one I couldn't believe they went to the line of scrimmage under shotgun because at the 1 yard line, there's not a ton you can do on a shotgun that's good. Even if you hand it off to the running back out of shotgun, by the time he gets it, he's 4 yards deep in the end zone, and that's a recipe for disaster. So we were saying coming out of break, like get under center, run a quarterback sneak, let them use their one timeout, run another quarterback sneak, and jog into the locker room.
6-3,
And
right? Been 6-3, I
it's
think.
6-3.
Yeah.
And so when they got out there in shotgun, I just was like, I can't believe what's happening. I don't even know what play they're going to run out of shotgun. And so when he goes to make that pass, and everyone in the stadium sees the corner breaking on it, it was just something I couldn't fathom. And of course, Coach Harrell, I won't say he blamed Hauser, but he did not blame him. He says he made a bad decision or he made a bad check or something like that. But my whole thing is send the kid to the line of scrimmage with one goal in mind: sneak the ball. That's it. Don't give him an option to make a check. So I'd like to for everyone to take the blame on that one, coaches and players, because that was bad. And I think that I'll take the interception going into the end zone. He tried to make a play. It wasn't a smart play, but he tried to make a play. Just didn't work out. In that scenario, you should throw the ball away and take 3 points and tie the game up 6-all. But he didn't do that. Okay, fine. They get the stop on defense. The punt returner makes a muff and gets you down to the 1 yard line. And then after that pick six, it just seemed like everything just kind of went backwards. And the defense needs the offense to help them out. And the second half, the offense didn't do a whole lot. So yeah, I'm still on team defense. I think the defense has carried the Pirates through this year, which is pretty amazing to say considering they lose 8 or 9 guys from last year, and they were the biggest question mark coming into this year. And here we are, 4 games in, and they're carrying the team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was disappointed in a couple of plays. Overall, I thought they showed well, especially in the first half. And I think if you ask enough people, I think BYU would say that the East Carolina was the toughest opponent they've had so far this year.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Another thing we talked about this week that we can add on in our, will the Pirates bounce back discussion? Anthony Smith had maybe his worst game as a Pirate, and he's been so good and consistent. I'm kind of giving him I don't know about a pass, but I think he'll be all right. I hope he'll be all right anyway moving forward. But, Kevin, how about overall offensively? A short turnaround maybe is a good thing. Maybe you want to get back out there on the field. I don't know. You can tell me as a former player, but how does this team kind of bounce back offensively? And again, I said this the other day, Kevin. We got one of the worst first half offenses against FBS opponents in the country. Take
Yeah.
away Campbell, and it's a little bit hyperbole, but man, we got to get going here early points wise in the first half.
Yeah, usually my keys to the game involve getting out early, and Campbell's the only game we were able to do that. Right, we won the toss, took the ball, we went down the field and scored. That hadn't happened in any other game this year, so it has been interesting. I'm not sure, and it starts and ends with the running game, right? Like
Yeah,
we have three, Doak Walker Award, candidates or whatever coming into the season, and nobody's been really successful. I guess London Montgomery's probably been the most successful, but yards per carry we've really struggled. And that's even, even in the Campbell game, we didn't run all over them. We had some decent runs. I was happy to see London get the 139-yard run. That's definitely the biggest play that BYU's given up this year on the ground. I think he ended the game because of that run, averaging 7 yards a carry. So it's good to kind of break through in a couple plays, but they got to get that running game going. And I know we say, it's okay, we'll throw to run or we'll just throw the ball
Right.
every down if we have to. I get all those things. But let's just be honest. You're not winning conference championships if you can't run the football and if you can't stop the run. They've been pretty good at stopping the run. Now they got to find a way to run the football more consistently. And then that's only going to open it up for Anthony Smith and Spalding and Yannick Smith and those guys. And so, we'll see how they do coming, going forward. But I think it starts with the running game.
Kevin Monroe joining us. We were talking about, East Carolina yesterday, and Jarrett says, well, what is Army? So that's a good question because they lose to FCS opponent. They beat Kansas State. They get in a wild one, good comeback against North Texas, but they lose that one. So, what is this team, Kevin, coming off a banner year with Daly, their quarterback? He's no longer there. Now they might be down to, their third quarterback. So what do you think about the Black Knights rolling in here tonight?
Well, let's just say they're probably getting better, right? You start the season off losing to Tarleton State. That was a debacle. But since then, they've been progressively better to get a nice win at Kansas State. Who knows how good Kansas State is, but they have a name, right? And so they get that win, and then North Texas is 4-0. So regardless of who they've played, they're undefeated, and they have a nice showing in that game, only losing, they scored 38 points on them, only losing 45-38. So I think they're probably getting better. I think we probably see more the team that played Kansas State and North Texas than we do Tarleton State. So we can't go and think we're going to blow them out. But yeah, they're trying to figure some things out. I mean, you have one of the best quarterbacks in your school's history leave the program. It's going to take a little bit to replace that. And as you mentioned, they've got some injuries, some other things, and so that it all starts. It all runs with that quarterback as the engine, right? They decide whether he's going to give to the dive man, run it himself, or throw it to the pitch man in that triple option scheme. And they also throw the ball a little bit, right? They're averaging 100 yards a game throwing. So as a defense, you got to be ready for everything. They certainly can come in the house and beat us if we're not prepared. You let a couple passes go over the top of your head, and all of a sudden you're down a couple touchdowns. That definitely can happen. But I think I don't know anybody knows what this Army team is going to show us, but they're better than that Tarleton State game. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Kevin, Brian Bailey had Robert Jones on the show earlier this week. They had a good chat about the Cowboys Netflix documentary, which I found interesting. And then they got to talking about kids these days and playing video games, and it turned into old man radio for a minute. I picked on Bailey about that. But I did want to ask you, Kevin, I love your insight. Like, you see the fireworks and the boneyard and everything football and ECU football is, and do you ever say, like, man, we didn't have all this, and we used to go kick some butt out there? Have you turned into old man Kevin when you see that stuff? Plus, you have kids being recruited, so you see that side of it now, too. So what's your take on how things have changed, since you were suiting up?
Listen, I 100% did say that in the press box. I was like, geez, we didn't have the fire and the fireworks and blah blah. But I mean, it was funny because when Maceo O'Donnell saw it for the first time, he's like, what? They got fireworks? Like he was like upset. He was like, what is going on here?
And he's like, what, 3 years removed?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But listen, I'm from the era where we were the scoreboard went up, or not the scoreboard, the upper deck went up during my era, and then shortly after the scoreboard went up. And so they were starting to make changes back then. So I'm just
Did they bring in portable bleachers, Kevin? Was that when you were playing? I remember those days.
So the NC State game my senior year, the 1999 year, they brought in portable end zones to portable seats for both end zones, and so that's how we were able to get to 40,000 fans, or 50,000 fans rather, 50,000 fans because of those two end zones. And so for a while that stood as the largest crowd in Dowdy-Ficklen history. So yeah, I'm just, I mean, you have to have this stuff. You have to have indoor facilities. You have to have the bells and whistles. And I think they had close to 200 recruits at the game on Saturday. And so, listen, it was a good show. It was a good atmosphere for those recruits to see.
Kevin Monroe joining us. Kevin, keys tonight. You kind of hit on it for our defense when Army has the football. But what do you want to? We got to clean stuff up. Got to get rid of those unforced errors, as they call in tennis, I guess. But what are the keys tonight for a Pirate victory?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with the running game on both offense and defense. So offensively, got to get it going. Just find a way to get to those guys some open holes. And even Coach Harrell, alluded to the fact that when holes have been there, the running backs aren't necessarily seeing them. So better vision from them to make the right cutbacks, make the right choices. But you got to get going. You got to have 4 or 5 yards of carry in conference against a team like Army. So it starts there offensively, then defensively. Yeah, it's assignment and alignment football. If you're not where you're supposed to be and willing to do what you're supposed to be doing, you will get beat every time. You and I have been around to see what Navy did to us all those years and what Army
Yeah.
did to us just last year. If you're responsible for the dive man, you can't be worried about what the quarterback's doing or what the pitch man's doing. You're responsible for the quarterback, you can't be worried about what the dive man's doing, the pitch man's doing, so on and so forth. So it's assignment and alignment football. Everybody has their own responsibilities on that option game. And the DBs can't fall asleep thinking they're going to run the ball every play because they will throw the ball every now and then. So that's what you got to do defensively. And you can't turn the ball over. We had 2 bad turnovers late in the first half in that game, and that killed us. I'm not worried about Caden because that's not normally his MO is to turn the football over. I think he'll be fine. But those type of turnovers will get you beat on national television. So they can run the football, stop the run, and win the takeaway battle. I think they'll be okay.
Great insight from Kevin Monroe joining us today. Kevin, Washington's the walking wounded. Dallas can't stop anybody, so we'll save the NFL chat for another day.
Thank you for that.
Kevin, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, take it easy, Clip.